Hello, welcome to my channel. I want to speak to you, if this is your first time, about an African-American man practicing Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism within the Soka Gakkai International. Many people ask, how is it as a black person could you be a Buddhist? This channel was dedicated to give my experiences of other fellow African-American members, their joy of practicing Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism within the Soka Gakkai. Here, I will give you some of the study material that enables me to live a life of always being in harmony, cheerful, safe, healthy, and happy. I want to share this experience with you that you may be encouraged to try chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo yourself and experiencing the joy of practicing Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism. This Buddhism is a practice that will enable anyone to become happy. To explain more, I've created this sort of long video. I've shared my personal experience and an experience with one of my best friends in this faith. So please enjoy and let me know what you think with leaving a comment below.
Today is the 10th of January 2024, and we're here in Orlando, Florida, and having a toast to Kosen Rufu with my Kosen Rufu brother, Mr. Anthony Davis. And he has a few words he wants to share with the audience here. This is for the journal only, for you guys that may be interested in my life in the future. I just want to document this, have it in the journal for you to be able to know who I am, who I hang out with, and what I drink, and what I do, and what I say. So cheers to Kosen Rufu, 2025.
2025.
There's a drink to that.
Yes.
Okay. I think you want to do a presentation of some guidance.
All I want to say is that we are proud members of the Soka Gakkai International, a wonderful, wonderful organization for self-empowerment and world peace. And the theme for our organization this year is the year of soaring higher towards a youthful Soka Gakkai worldwide. So that's for those of us who are actual youth and those of us who are youthful in spirit, and we're taking it to another level in 2025. And I hope anybody watching this, there's even an inkling of an interest in practicing Soka Gakkai Nichiren Buddhism. Please, please do so. You will not regret it.
Not at all. Not at all. Anthony and I have been doing this practice for 40 plus years. We met some 40 years ago and became fast friends right from the get-go. Had a lot in common, being only children and being African-American, coming up in a pretty, what you might call a middle income kind of household, good educational background, and just a desire to want to help people. And we want to be a change for the world. And this organization gave us this opportunity to do just that. Each day we live for culture, education, and peace. And we believe that everybody has a Buddha nature. And we chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo every morning and every evening to bring out our own Buddha nature, to see the Buddha nature in ourselves and see the Buddha nature in others. This takes courage. We have confidence in our faith, and we have hope for the future. As he mentioned about the young people, that is a youthful spirit that we will carry well into our aging time. But that's what we do, and we just want to be sure that you have this clear, precise message for this time to carry on this legacy.
Absolutely.
Something else to drink to?
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers. Anthony, I want to thank you so much for letting this camera roll on this moment. Now, what I do is cut it here, but some of you might say some important things because you just recently went to the Hall of the Great Vow in Tokyo. Is it? What's it?
Yeah, actually, it's in Tokyo, a suburb called Shinomachi.
Shinomachi, okay.
But it was
what's in this building?
So, in the early days of the Soka Gakkai, actually in the 1950s, the second Soka Gakkai president, President Jose Toda, had requested that a special Gohonzon be inscribed. And the Gohonzon is the mandala or object of devotion that we chant to bring out our highest potential. And we all, as members, come together and chant in front of the Gohonzon, bringing out all of our highest potential towards helping other people do so and to make the world a better place, a peaceful world. So in the 1950s, he had a special Gohonzon, and on this Gohonzon is inscribed really for the vow to accomplish worldwide Kosen Rufu specifically. And so this Gohonzon has now been enshrined in a building called the Hall of the Great Vow. And it's a beautiful Gohonzon. It's like golden letters, like a black background. And for me, what was spectacular is that when we were chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo and doing Gongyo in front of this Gohonzon, we were doing it with the voice of our late mentor who just passed away almost 2 years ago. And it's very, very profound. And it's just wonderful to be able to chant with his voice because he is the individual who really brought this Buddhism to our part of the world and many other countries around the world. We're in 192 countries and territories around the world, really due to his efforts. So just to harmonize with his voice and his heart to bring this Buddhism around the world was, I can't even describe it in words. It was very moving. I was emotional. I was moved to tears because I realized that now he's gone on, but now it is really up to myself, and others to really continue, as he mentioned, keep this legacy going, keep it going forward so that other people can really benefit from this practice.
Absolutely. Man, so Dasaku K's voice is actually chanting Daimoku with the members that are in front.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, you certainly have accelerated my schedule. I want to go in 2034, my 80th birthday. But I think that we might have to push it up a little bit.
As soon as possible.
Okay, like yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that, man, because I look forward to having this conversation with you after you had that wonderful experience of going to Japan. Now, let me ask you, did you ever go on Tozan when they had the Shohando and chanted that?
No, I did not.
Okay.
No, I did not.
Yeah.
I was just about to do so before, we had the split.
The split, yeah.
So,
and that's a story for another day.
Right.
But yeah, I'm so glad that we can get this down. Actually, Anthony, you had encouraged me a lot, and this may go on my social media. I don't know, but being Black and being Buddhist is something very special. When I was doing those 60 seconds with the Buddha next door, which got a lot of views and formed a nice interest. Some people have been kind of curious about, what's going on. And, in our society, especially in the Black community, our ties to the Black church have been so historically significant in our lives that when those that deviate from that course are sometimes, I wouldn't say persecuted, but we are probably frowned upon as if we had given up the struggle of African Americans. But in reality, we have lifted the banner higher. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We have lifted the banner higher. They just don't know. And we're here to let you know what's up, and I think that's very, very important. And, and
if I could, I'd like to speak on that for a minute because my parents, and they're gone on now, but my father, he graduated from Morehouse. My mother graduated from Spelman. They're the first generation people to graduate from college. And so what was very interesting is that shortly before my dad had passed away, I had a conversation with him. My mother was there also about Dean Carter at Morehouse. I'm going to forget his first name. But anyway, so I know his title is Dean at Morehouse College. And explaining that actually on the campus of Morehouse, there are facilities named after Daisaku Ikeda, our Buddhist mentor. And Dean Carter has also referred to himself as a disciple of Daisaku Ikeda. And Dean Carter, of course, is connected to the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And there is an intersection clearly between the efforts of Dr. King, Gandhi, and also President Ikeda. And so this to me, the historical roots of like the Black church and these historically Black institutions. I mean, it's just almost like a perfect configuration. It all comes together. I bought books for my parents to read, and my mom, the last book. Now I'm forgetting the name, but at any rate, it was a dialogue between President Ikeda, Wayne Shorter, and Herbie Hancock. And in there, they do talk about in their whole careers with music and jazz and the intersection with the civil rights movement. It's very, very powerful. My mother was very moved by that. So to me, anyone being, African American, and when I joined, there was some resistance because of that, because they thought I was doing something that had nothing to do with being African American culture, or maybe I was actually going against something. But as time went on, it was very, very clear. They understood, oh, wow, that's not what's happening at all. And I actually believe that in the future, it's starting to happen now, but in the future, we will see more and more African Americans come to this understanding. So they feel there's no conflict, actually, ultimately, with these principles, the Buddhist principles, and maybe even principles you picked up in the Black church. There may be some belief differences in terms of Jesus and maybe a concept of God, but as human beings, acting on the principles of humanism and respect for life and for peace, there's no conflict at all. There is none. And we can sit down and have a dialogue with anybody, regardless of their religious background or what they believe, and without twisting their arm or forcing them to believe something different. The proof is in the pudding. It's actually our practice and us having the courage to sit down and have a dialogue with anyone and really share the principles of the Buddhism we practice.
Right. And finding a common ground, too, is an idea that I think resonates with other religious groups who are also interested in humanity and peace, and who isn't, and that's what our organization is all about, is attaining this level of understanding culturally between nations so that we can live and work together. I want to pull this back just a little bit so it doesn't dominate the scene. But our movement is one for everyone worldwide. And we hope that, this video will be a message for you to pique your curiosity, to find out a little bit more about Nam-myoho Renge Kyo and actually using Nam-myoho Renge Kyo in your daily life. Because my experience from 40 plus years ago, in the right place at the right time as a result of chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, and it just repeatedly goes on. And our practice is a physical practice of chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo in front of a scroll called the Gohanzan. And we do activities to promote peace and culture. We propagate this Buddhism by sharing our experiences in faith. We also promote well-being. I'm stumbling over the words right now. And it's not from the alcohol. It's just my mind has got a racing all over the place. I want to share just a brief experience. When I went out of town on New Year's Eve, but prior to that, in my condominium association, I've had some conflict with neighbors. And we are in a kind of a packed community, but these might have just been an illusion or something on my part. But I was, as Anthony mentioned, Dasalki Cater, our mentor, he had mentioned about how to be friends and how to be a good neighbor. So I started chanting about my neighbors upstairs, who he and I have had some difficulties because of the proximity and the noise levels and things of that nature. And others, especially when I got my EV car and had the EV charger that by law I could put up, that the association wasn't too happy with and asked me to remove it under grounds of just their disapproval. So there was some friction in this relationship with them. So as I was saying, I left town on the 31st of December to go to Ohio, my sort of hometown, and I forgot to close the door. I had to leave early morning flight, so I left at like 3 a.m. Thought I had all my I's dotted and T's crossed, and got in my vehicle and drove to the airport. Spent New Year's Eve in Cleveland, Ohio, and about the 3rd or 4th of January, I got a call from a neighbor. Said, we were just curious because your car is gone and the door is open and seems to be nobody home. And they came in, and I had all my valuables, things, may not mean much to anybody, but I have a little studio there, but nothing was disturbed. So my place was left open for 3 days, and they decided to investigate, came in, saw everything was in place, and I was not missing or whatever. They closed the door, and I was safe and sound. So I attribute that to how my prayer for the happiness of my neighbors, even in conflicting situations, I think I was protected by the Buddhist gods in terms of not having any loss of these things, and good neighbors that helped me keep my place secure while I was gone. So that was just a little quick experience, but members have numerous experiences overcoming health issues, relationship issues, physical issues. A guy here, he had a really tremendous experience. How long has it been now that you've had your?
2013, December 2013.
December 2013. So we're going into
maybe 11. We passed the 11-year mark. So going in.
Yeah. So that was a pretty significant experience for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't have time to go all the depth about it, but it was tremendous because I did have kidney failure, and at the time I was on dialysis every day.
Every day for
every single day. And let me see, I don't know how, like something like almost 2 years, something like that. And so what I was told was I was doing dialysis, I was put on the transplant list. And what they told me, I live in Iowa. So what I was told is that the way when it comes down to getting a donor, like a living donor, the highest probability of you getting a donor that matches and meets all the criteria is that you live on the east or the west coast. I was in the middle of the country. For some reason, in the middle of the country, the probability is much lower. A lot of that has to do with people's health conditions, so forth and so on. Mm-hmm. But I was chanting a lot. And so one day, there's just two parts of this. I'll just share just two quick parts. Well, first of all, the job I was working at the time, I had health insurance. I had to let the health insurance company know. They initially approved me for the surgery and for the treatment required to get the transplant. But they said, you're going to have to get this surgery not in Des Moines, Iowa, where I live, but either in Kansas City or in Iowa City, it's the University of Iowa, or Mayo, which is like a 3 or 4 hour drive from where I live, or Creighton in Nebraska, because the insurance company said it had to be a center of excellence, and there's all these requirements. It's about the surgical staff, et cetera. So at any rate, I was actually at a follow-up appointment for dialysis, and there was a administrative assistant, not even a nurse, not even a healthcare provider. And I was just telling her what's going on. I said, yeah, but they're not going to approve it because of this, that, and the other thing. And she said, And so, I'm still chanting. About 3 weeks later, she herself called me up. She said, you know what, I was researching this. And she said, actually, they are going to pay. And I was like, what do you mean? She said, well, I just found out that a surgeon was coming from Creighton University in Nebraska because he will be on staff at Methodist Hospital Medical Center in Des Moines that elevated it to a center of excellence, which meant now the procedure was covered. But then the insurance company reneged on approving the surgery. So this is quite expensive, somewhere north of $300,000. And so I was like, oh, wow, now what's going on? So on the transplant team, I'm still chanting, there was a social worker. And I was telling her what was going on. And she just said to me, you know what? This is an insurance company thing. They do this. Don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of it. She got it fixed. They covered the surgery. She was even able to get me a nurse to come to my house every single day for the first, I think it must have been about a month, to check up on me and all that. All that was covered by insurance. So it was just a tremendous experience. And like I said, so far so good. I'm here. no issues. I've done everything in my power to take care of what I have. My kidney comes from a deceased donor, so definitely gratitude to that person. But at any rate, all of this experience was based on me really chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. No question about it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. This is how we show actual proof to others that, this kind of actual proof, a practice in a religion, like any religion should be, is give you actual proof that it can benefit your life now. It is this moment, not in the past, not in the future, but right now. It's how you can benefit now so you can have a better future. What a tremendous experience. So, well, I just want to thank you for sharing that. We're going to shut it down now, and maybe this will get published and inspire someone else.
Yeah.
So, cheers to
Cheers. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Peace.
Yeah. Happy New Year.